Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating how you're going to make these color wheels that are great references for you before you begin the process of painting. Just so you have an understanding of what happens with the six primary colors that you're using to create this range of other colors, the secondaries and the tertiary colors. So you're going to be making a warm palette color wheel and a cool palette color wheel. The warm color wheel is cadmium red light, cadmium yellow medium, and ultramarine blue. The cool palette color wheel is alizarin crimson, primary yellow, and cerulean blue. You'll also need white for this particular exercise, and white will be how you'll be tinting and lightening your colors and changing the intensity. So I have already shared with you how to set up the schematic for this. And as I said, you could use a white piece of paper if you had it. If you had a piece of cardboard, the same size, you could use that. Right? You're also using just a standard disposable cup lid or any kind of cup that gets you to that size when you're laying out the schematic. On the schematic, which will be provided for you as well as an image, you'll see this layout and how to do it, right? To include at the bottom here then, this tint and tone chart, where you will be applying your colors here, and you will be tinting by adding white and toning by using the color across the color wheel, which is its complement, to create a gray range. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do the warm side. You'll do the warm side and the cool side. So the best practice here I like to do is to set up my colors on the palette the way I would in the color wheel. This is a nice way to set it up whenever you're painting too. So here's my ultramarine blue is here. I'm going to squeeze some of that out. My cad red light. Squeeze some of that out here. My cad yellow medium. We set this up this way so when we make our mixtures, for example, to create our green using our ultramarine blue and our cadmium yellow medium, we can just literally mimic the way it looks here and apply it onto the color wheel. Right, now, one of the things that you can do when you're starting this is to simply choose any primary. Here's the cad red light. I've already had this labeled. You would have it labeled too so you know where these are going. Right, clean the brush. Take my ultramarine blue. Now what you can do if you want to save yourself some time, because I've labeled this, right, this top area of these boxes is where you're going to put your primaries. You could put those down ahead of time. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. It saves you some time where you could do this in just about the time it takes for a class period. My cad red light. Cleaning my brush. You have, if you got the brush pack, you have a number of brushes, a brush that can easily create the stroke to cover the area. It's also very good practice before you start painting. My cadmium yellow medium, right there. clean that, because I want to put that here. Making these color wheels also gets you kind of a feel for how this paint, this acrylic paint, water-soluble and mixable paint, operates. So I want to go ahead and put my green in there. I'm going to take an equal part of yellow, clean the palette knife, take an equal part of the ultramarine, put my green, can't leave acrylic paint for too long. You couldn't step away and eat lunch, for example. It will dry out. It has a working time of anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. You get a feel for that too. I'm going to take some of that green. I'm going to find where it goes here, and just one stroke will lay that down. I'm going to take a little bit more yellow now. Mix that into my green to make a yellow green, which is a tertiary color. I'm going to put that in my yellow-green spot. All right, clean that brush. Take some of that blue, ultramarine blue, and mix that into the green here. Really cool green like that. And you'll see when you do the cool wheel, the variations that happen. You obviously have an image that I showed you, but you'll get a feel for what happens with that. Let's put that cool green, blue green right here. Let's take some cadmium red light, put that there. Some of our yellow, equal mixture to make our orange. Go ahead and put our orange down. And so we're mixing these in a hierarchy, right? From primaries to secondaries. That's how you should do it, right? I'm not going to mix my yellow orange first. I'm going to have my orange. I'm going to take a little more yellow and I'm going to go ahead and look at that yellow orange now. I'm going to take some more of the cadmium red light and mix that into the orange. To make my red orange. Finally then on to violet. Taking some of my ultramarine blue. Some of my cad red light, it's equal mixture. A little bit more of that, so I have the same amount. You can see that's a warm violet. Not quite along the range of a color we would call purple. It's a violet nonetheless. And let me go ahead and place these colors down here like I did before. I forgot to put some of these in here. It's my red orange. Some of my yellow orange. So for my red violet, let me take some more of that cad red light mixed into my violet. Each person works with these a little differently, a little bit more controlled. But I want to see that you can mix up these colors and get this range of colors. And then a little bit more, the ultramarine blue into that violet. Move that color down here to the blue violet box. And go back to my red violet here that I had mixed up. Okay, so what I would suggest, again, is now that you have this, you know what you're doing here, right? You could mix up, get ready to have some of your white. Because I kind of have this palette laid out the way the color wheel is, I can also do my tones first if I wanted to, right? So for example, here I have my cadmium red light, right? Going across the color wheel to my green. This was my green. So I can take a 50-50 mixture of that. Grab some of my green. And create that tone. That color. I can take some of my cad red light, place it there, and put it into some white. To show what happens when I create a tint. Like that. I can keep going along here now to that red violet that I had. All right, here, let me mix up a little bit more red violet. What is the complement of the red violet is the yellow green. I still have some of that yellow green here, right? So I can mix that up right there. Place that there. Take some of that red violet again, right? Place it down, grab a little bit of white. And put its tint there. I can come to that blue violet that I had made. Here, blue violet over to yellow orange, which I have some here. If you run out of space, then you just have to go ahead and use another palette, or if you have a plate or whatever. Again, take that equal mixture. You get some funny results for these, but if you take those neutrals, when you mix those complements, those tones, called neutrals too, you'll find that you'll get a kind of a gray, and I'll do that right here, and you can see that there's that kind of bluish gray that happens. And then I'm going to again take that blue violet, right? There. Take a little bit of white Mix those together. And I'm up to ultramarine. Ultramarine to orange. All right, so I have my orange mixture here. My ultramarine. Putting that in the tint box, or in the tone box, sorry. I need some white for my ultramarine, so I'll take a little bit of that, place that there. Grab some ultramarine. So ensure my tint of my ultramarine. And you'll continue this process the entire way through in creating the tones, again, as you go across the color wheel, and the tints where you add white, till you'll have a complete version that will look something like that.